Welcome back to Metropole TV, The Smart Investor. We got a fantastic guest here with us for the second half. It's the CEO of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Mr. Odundo. Thanks for making the time. We got so much to talk about, and I'm really excited. Let's start with yesterday's announcement of the derivatives market. Yeah. Did you expect this announcement? I know it had been a long time gestating, right? So this was a big breakthrough for the NSE?
Yes, it was. And I think we're still numb because we're really excited about it. We don't know how to celebrate it. But I must say that we had been working on this for quite a while. We started this journey almost 6 years ago, first with the regulations coming through and then getting the provisional conditions to set up the market in 2015. And so a lot of work in earnest began then. And so it's been a very long journey putting together the infrastructure, the getting all the members, the clearing members, trading members, and the whole ecosystem together.
And you've got that now?
That is the only place. And then we had to go into a phase of what we call mock trading.
Yes, you've done that?
6 months of that, with scripts that had to be validated by the regulators, by our trading members, and here we're looking at the CMA as a primary, but we also had the secondary regulator, the Central Bank of Kenya because of the banks. And so a very large quantity of information that had to be shared across.
And you had to herd everybody together.
Yes. And so the last leg of this was to get our clearing members approved by the central bank because that's their primary regulator, and that came through. And hence, the final phase of the whole project was successfully done yesterday.
So what do you want it to look like? I mean, what are the instruments that you're looking to have? Yes. And if you look around the world, what can you point out and say, Ali Khan, that's the kind of thing I want to see happening? Yeah. First of all, instruments, single stock futures?
Yeah. So we are starting with single stock futures, and we also have an index future.
This is on the NSE 25?
The NSE 25.
Yes.
Yes. And we've had a very good run with the NSE 25, and it's actually one of the indices we're tracking markets with, and we've seen very, very good results out of it. So I believe it's a tradable index, and hence we can use that to create contracts on. Now, this is part of the evolution of the market, and that's why it's a very big milestone for us. So from a spot market, which we've been for the last 65 years, we're now going
from the Stanley.
From the Stanley
Nation
Center.
I remember that's when we first met.
Yes, yes.
And then from there to the automation. And now
to a derivatives market.
So people might not see what has actually happened. It's quite a development.
Yeah, it's quite a milestone, and I think being the second market again in Africa.
This is after South Africa.
After Johannesburg in South Africa, and knowing how the journey has been for them, it's no mean feat. So I must applaud the entire capital markets for coming together to do this. What does this mean for us?
Yeah.
So it now broadens our product offering. So from a spot market, we can now do derivatives. We can create products around derivatives. It's a market that we can determine how it grows because there are a lot of opportunities we can do. And as the exchange, we bring in board another asset class of investors who trade these instruments globally. And so being a 70% foreign traded market.
70 now?
70 now.
Wow.
If we had an equivalent 70% derivative traded market, that just naturally doubles.
So
the NSE.
So that would also make your own company's share more valuable because you're a volume game, aren't you? At the end of the day, the more volume you pump through, the more profitable the NSE will be itself.
Yes, we are a volume game, and we are certainly expecting to see the price behavior in the next few days. We've actually issued a notice.
Yes, I saw that. And someone was saying, why did you issue that notice? I said, because it's a material announcement.
yes. So I think what that will portend for us is that Kenya now will stand out as a leading financial hub on the continent to attract international flow. We believe the derivatives market will have a direct correlative effect to the spot market.
Yes.
And hence, opportunities of arbitrage will be there, and opportunities for investors to use these tools also to hedge positions, etc. So I'm expecting a more dynamic, a more aggressive trading environment going forward, and really scaling up our turnover ratios.
No, I must say congratulations. I know it's been a long journey, and really, when I saw the announcement, I thought, wow, you've really moved the dial there. You've moved the needle.
Yeah, I think it was worth the wait.
Yeah, no,
it was worth the wait.
And so when do you think you'll go live?
So we project that the next 1 month is about cleaning up the pipes and making sure the final phase of everything is ready. We anticipate we'll be coming to the market in July.
As soon as that?
As soon as that.
Oh, yes. So you're good to go?
We're good to go, yeah. We're good to go.
You've been doing some upgrading of the systems. Was that part of this, trying to, or was that something else?
So the upgrade is a separate intervention or a separate initiative we're running with. The system we're running on is 13 years old, and it's actually end of life. We should have changed it 3 years ago. But changing platforms is not a very easy job, so it's taken us about 3 years to really configure the new system and bring it to the market. That's going well. I think the other thing we're trying to do with this changeover is change the trading environment.
Yes.
So from
so now we have 9:30 to 3.
9:30 to 3.
How are you going to change it?
We are creating a non-prevalidated market. What that means, you will have the ability to trade positions intraday.
Oh.
So trade at 9, trade at 11.
So you could buy and sell the same
buy
position.
And sell the
you
same
wouldn't
day.
have to hold it and wait till that. Oh, wow.
So it's a netting system. So the person holding it at the end is all that goes through natural settlement.
Wow.
But you'll be able to change your positions, and we believe that will improve liquidity and turnover. It will also bring in the ability to lend stock.
This is stock lending.
Stock lending.
So what people can then short stock.
Can short stock. And that again will just help improve liquidity. We'll have opportunity for market makers to now play their game, a real game in it. And so our aspiration is to make the market extremely vibrant.
Yes.
Have the turnover ratios.
Well, you've got all the ingredients here now, right?
Yes.
And what you're going to look at turnover ratios?
We're looking at turnover ratios. We're currently at just slightly above 5%. We want to push that to 15%. Then we'll start looking as a market worth investing in, because investors are looking for liquidity as well.
In the stocks.
In the stocks.
Yes. Of which, how many are liquid stocks in that universe? 10?
Not more than 10. A lot of them are locked up in pension funds who are holding long. And all those pension funds also have opportunity to raise money by lending it to people who want to trade
incremental income.
Precisely. So there's going to be a lot in play, I think, to really make the market very vibrant after we upgrade. This system happens to be a highly available system, so even the few outages we saw with the current system will be a thing of the past, at least to a very large extent. So we're really looking at how that will help make the market more accessible and more achievable, reachable to the majority of the investors.
Chief Executive, I follow you on social media, I follow you regularly, and I see you've got a lot of incubatees now.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about what you're doing there, because I see a bunch of last one I saw was the radio...
Homeboys.
And they've done very well. So,
so
tell us, give us an idea, what sort of companies and what are you doing with them? What are you trying to do with these people?
Okay. So the NSE has been around for the last 65 years. And in those 65 years, we've got 65 securities.
That's
a pretty interesting scenario.
One a year.
Yeah. And we had to reflect back and ask ourselves very hard questions as to why aren't companies coming to the market? What is the real issues that we need to address?
You did a deep dive into this.
We did a deep dive.
And what did you discover?
We discovered, first of all, it's a perceived fear, that the market is not accessible. So we believe the market is there, yes. We hear all these things. We need to be ready before we join.
Yes. But what is the ready?
What is the ready?
Yes.
So so that was a big question we had to answer. The issues around losing control.
This is family businesses, nervous of having a bunch of shareholders are going to hold them to the fire.
Yes. That's another issue. If you have 51%, you have control.
Yes.
So there was that issue, the issue around succession, and so we had to send a message or really find a way of turning that around. And so we came up with a live incubator. So we have an incubator. So
what happens? Let's say it's my company. I can come to you and say, Jeff, what do I do with this company? You'll put me into some program.
Right.
You'll bring sort of what, corporate governance, better.
Yeah. So you go through that.
Yeah.
But that's just one end of it.
Yes.
So we bring you on board. We take you through the normal incubation that any other incubator platform would do. But we give you the second leg of it. We give you immediate visibility. So you appear on the NSE platform as a listed company.
Oh, wow.
You're not listed. In fact,
Yes.
we use the word hosted.
Yes.
Now that hosting status opens you up to a wide spectrum of investors who now can see company X. What do? You start getting calls, you start getting media interviews. We've had a few who have had international media interviews.
Wow.
And that then gives you some, really, I can do this. So what do I need to fit out on the other side of things? Already you start getting customers talking to you, we've seen you, what's your product? Because the NSE's visibility is huge.
Yes.
So that visibility is what we give you.
Yeah.
And then we build up and work with the consultants to help you now fix all the other matters that will now prepare you to access capital in any of our platforms.
What sort of size businesses are we talking about? What is the range that you're looking? What is your perfect business for you to come into this incubation program?
So we have the hosting requirements are pretty accommodative. As long as your business has been in existence, you have a formal structure, you've got a clear business plan, I think we're willing to accept you.
You are doing some kind of evaluation?
There's an evaluation, there's a vetting. We want to also make sure that the companies that come have actually got a clear strategic direction of where they want to go. So we actually interview the founders and tell them, what's your long-term plan in this company? How do you want to achieve it? And then we realize and tell you where the gaps are.
Wow.
And that then helps you strengthen that.
So how many? I saw Homeboys. How many have you got in the program?
We have 11. And,
already?
And Ali, let me tell you,
You've got
the companies who have joined are amazing companies.
Yes. Give us an idea. Is it Homeboys?
We have companies, Homeboys, who is an entertainment company, been there since 1992.
And hugely successful.
Very successful. We've got Via Leasing. It's a leasing company. They lease everything, including phones, if you want. We have a travel agency called Globetrotter. And today they're one of our brand ambassadors. They're very, very passionate about this.
Yes.
We have a steel company, one of the largest steel companies in Kenya, called Blue Nile.
Wow.
They make, I think, the world's largest nail company, making nails. The story of the founder is amazing.
Yes.
We have a capital financing company in Nyali, Mombasa, who lends money and has a very high turnover at the moment.
Wow.
A real
so
entrepreneurial
non-bank
person.
Business.
Yes.
Yes.
We have insurance broking companies, we've had 2 property companies.
Wow.
MySpace. And yesterday we hosted the first or the pioneer service apartment company.
Wow.
And with very, very nice
So you've
products.
had a really positive reaction, because sometimes you worry that you build the building, but then you can't get people to come in and participate. But that's good to hear.
11 companies in 3 months.
And pipeline?
Great. We have quite a number. We are targeting about 30 companies this year.
Wow.
And now the pressure is on us to actually help these companies begin the program.
And get to the next level, right?
Yeah, and they're really passionate about it. The founders are coming for those meetings. We're having implementation meetings. A very structured program. And we believe that even international partners like the AFDB, etc., are
they willing?
Are willing to put up and fund to consider how they can fund companies that go through this program, because we are not only.
That is clever if you do that, because you're doing the selection process for the AFDB, right?
Yes. Because also, why we want to do this, we would like companies that come to the NSE who are listed on the NSE are really strong and ready to survive the market. We would like to reduce the amount of companies that actually leave the exchange because of failures.
Yes.
And so that's why we're also playing a role.
So now you're playing a role to coach them. You're like a coach.
I'm like a coach.
A good one.
And they get a good transfer value for it.
Oh, you're buying them cheap and then you're selling them expensive. Like Alex Ferguson used to do at Man United many years ago.
Certainly, yes.
Now, I want to touch on another space. If you look back at the macro data of Kenya's economy, the fastest growing part consistently has been ICT.
Correct.
Now, a few weeks ago, we saw Jamia, difficult company to have listed in Kenya, except that all South Africa and, $1 billion of accumulated losses. the Americans tend to like those businesses because they think you've spent that money at scaling.
Yeah.
Do you think a company like Jamia belongs in the Nairobi Securities Exchange?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you?
I think they do.
Yes.
In fact, I would just like to take us back in history. If you remember a company like Scan Group,
Yes.
it's an
When
intellectual
I was
property
there. When I was there, no one, everyone said to me, Ali Khan is worth nothing. What are the assets?
company. Precisely.
Yeah.
And we got a valuation out of it.
Yes.
And today it's one of the best performing stocks we have in the exchange.
Yeah.
So can we list an intellectual property company?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Technology companies are just that.
Yeah.
And so we believe that we can actually create a very unique platform.
How would it look? What are you thinking?
So our thinking is still at a very, very formative stage, but into the future we're thinking of probably a technology board. And this will have its own unique admission requirements, its own unique valuation requirements, etc., to encourage all these companies that we have in the hubs, all these Kenya is a very tech country right now.
It's
very
incredible.
tech countries, the apps, etc., and all these young people need an access channel to help them put those successful companies into some formal structure. And as part of our strategy, we are just in the formulation stages of our strategy to create an opportunity for technology as a key asset class for the exchange.
That should be
not an enabler, an asset class now.
That's very interesting. I'm glad to hear that.
We're thinking
from you.
about it,
Because what I worry sometimes is, Mr. Odundo, a lot of the money is sitting with older people.
Yes.
And you got all these youngsters with brilliant ideas, and you just don't know whether the capital can meet the idea.
Yes.
And you see that technology board as being an enabler for that.
Yeah, we see that technology being an enabler for that. We've had a lot of discussions with other exchanges.
Yes, tell me about that, because my question to you about that is, I hear about that. We all want one single exchange, the theory, but it's also about national sovereignty, isn't it? So tell us what's your thinking behind that, and whom are you trying to partner with?
So the NSE has got a lot of partnerships with various international exchanges, right from London, China, Shenzhen, Dubai. We have got very, very strong partnerships, and we learn a lot from each other. And so one of our partners, the LSE,
London Securities Exchange,
London Stock Exchange, currently have this in play, and we are learning from them on how we can set it up, and they're very, very supportive. Also, we're working with the CMA, who have got technology as part of their core strategy for the next 5 years.
Yes.
So mapping all that together, the CMA also has a regulatory sandbox.
Yes, which is now in play already.
And RegTech is a core part of this. So with all those facets in place, I think we just now need to finish the leg and create that entry point for the companies to come in. We believe that working with partners and working with the hubs and the Ministry of ICT, we can create policies and directions for companies to actually access the market, and also to create funds that meet this kind of
and
need.
Probably then they can take, they don't have to take single bets. They can have more diverse portfolio, right?
Portfolios, So a lot of thought is going into that.
That's interesting.
We are going to be very, very aggressive.
Because we have the DNA, don't we, to get this right. We've seen so many successful businesses. We've got M-Pesa. We've got all of these other. I know M-Pesa is, people bring that up, but it seems to me it's in our DNA.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Ali, something about one of the other strategies we have is about how do we enable investors access markets.
Yes.
So we are looking. Digital strategy for us is going to be core, and using our success in M-Pesa and all these mobile money platforms, we create products and access channels for investors to come through. I believe you have seen the success of M-Akiba.
Yes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because that came up before. Yes.
So M-Akiba, we brought this in collaboration with the government and the Central Depository Settlement Corporation. It is the first mobile bond tradable
in the world.
In the world.
Wow.
It's another pride moment for us.
Yes.
So today investors can actually buy a government bond for as low as 3,000 shillings or $30.
That's incredible.
From their phone.
So that's real financial inclusion.
Yeah. So you open your account. Yeah. You're able to purchase the bond. As long as you have the bond, you get your coupon payments every 6 months. The maturity of the bond is going to be 1 year, 1.5 years away from now, and you're getting 10% net return.
Yes.
All right. So the success of Emakiba is not the value. In fact, I see press writing about subscription rates. Well,
Yes.
the government doesn't need $1 billion shillings.
Yes.
I mean, this is just a test environment. The government needs financial inclusion.
Yes. So this is at
Yes.
$30, you're
Yes.
hitting the sweet spot.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So we have over 460,000 registrations today.
Yes.
That tells you 460,000 people have opened mobile trading accounts.
Wow.
So they know what a bond is.
Yes.
We're just waiting for conversion at some point, and it'll just be the one that carries the country.
Let me ask you a
Yes.
question. I remember, all those years ago when we had the Safaricom IPO, you'd have to fight to get in Nation Center. The enthusiasm of the retail investor.
Yes.
How do you trigger that again? Do you need a big IPO? Does the government need to come and say to you, Jeff, come on, let's sell this at a discount, let's get the excitement going? Is that something you're telling them?
Two things we're going to do.
Yeah.
One, we'll create the access
Yes.
through the mobile phone.
Yeah.
So today you can go to your broker and you can trade using a mobile phone. We are going to create a national
Yes.
platform where you can access your broker through the NSE portal, just like Emakiba.
Yeah.
Secondly, any large IPO coming to the future, we're going to make it an electronic IPO, so that you.
What does that mean?
So it's going to be on the basis of when IPO opens, you put your application via your phone, and hence it fills up.
Yes.
So we want to do away with the issues around refunds and all this kind of. So it's a first come,
So
first
you're going to
served
go
basis.
totally digital. Everyone will
Yeah.
have to come through the system.
Yeah.
You will allocate.
Allocate real time. So these are the new ideas that we have to bring on board, because Kenyans, the retail is looking for an easy way to trade.
Yeah.
They're looking for an easy way to access the market. All these forms and accounts, etc., going to your broker, and we want it to be national. Emakiba today has 450,000 customers, and they're all over
That's
the country.
a huge number.
We looked at the demographics. We have
Yes.
people in Mandera. We have people in
You're
Lodwar.
buying it, yes.
We have people in the US.
Wow,
I mean,
the
it's-
diaspora
the
must
diaspora.
be a big opportunity for you.
Precisely.
$2.4 billion of remittances.
Precisely.
You get a bit of that.
So that's the scope.
Yeah.
That's the scope.
So you're really outlining a very bright vision.
Yes.
What's keeping you up at night? I can see what you've got. I think I can see all the pieces of the jigsaw. But what do you sit there and what's stressing you and making you think, can I make it happen? Or have you crossed that point?
No, I think we actually, as long as the markets are not the way they are,
Yes.
we'd like to see this market vibrant.
Yeah.
The lack of the vibrancy, we feel it. When we look at those turnovers, and Monday gave us a shock. We had 86 million trade.
Yes.
We were we had holidays in the US and the UK. That tells you
that's right.
that
How
level,
important that market
that
is.
dependency is.
Yes.
When they came back to the market, they did 1.4 billion the next day. So that lack of vibrancy of the market is something that concerns us a lot, and concerns me as a person. I get a good feeling in my body when I see the turnovers, when I
Yes.
see the number of trades that happened in the day. It means that we are seeing more local activity. And for me, getting more local participation is really core. Yeah.
But I wonder if really to do that, you need another Safaricom or something where, where it captures everyone's imagination, where,
Well, I think a large IPO would be very welcome.
Yeah.
Because they normally trigger and create that buzz and excitement. So that's something we are working on around the clock, both in government and private.
Yes.
Because we've also got very good corporate accounts in private that we just need to convert. And that's a good catalyst for the market. But I can tell you, the Ibuka program
Yes.
will be a very transformative platform, because we are going to create a consistent flow of IPOs. I mean, I was challenged by Richard Quest when he visited here.
Yes.
That we ring bells every day at the NSE. In fact, sometimes we ring twice a day.
Yes.
And he said, when do you guys, how often do you ring your bell?
That's right. Yeah.
Now, we are currently issuing certificates every week.
Yes.
I can promise you, we're going to ring bells every week.
Wow.
Fairly shortly.
No, what you've outlined,
Yeah.
that's exciting. I
Yes.
want to be there when you're ringing those bells.
All right. So
We'll send you the TV people.
more than welcome.
Now, okay, so I understand all of that. I understand what the ingredients are. Is the government on side? Because you would have thought the government too needs to downsize some of its positions in these companies.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that difficult. I mean, I remember, Mr. Odundo, when I went to the United Kingdom and Mrs. Thatcher was privatizing British Gas, British Telecom, and enthusiasm, and it created ownership amongst people who didn't think they owned anything before. Suddenly they had their certificate, and some of them would never even trade it, they just put it on the wall. Can we get back to that?
We can get back to that.
Yeah.
I think we saw this between 2006, 2008.
You know,
we had a really series of IPO after IPO.
Yeah.
And really, what's the message about that? What do we learn from government listings? If you look at Safaricom, which was a government organization,
Yes.
post-listing,
Yes.
that company has been transformative. It's the largest company in East Africa, one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
That should be a message that privatization works.
Yeah.
Kengen,
Yes.
Kenya Re. We have seen those companies scale up and become bigger and better. Because what does that do? It enhances transparency. It brings in better corporate governance. You're held to account because of the minority investor. So as CEO, as chairman, as board, you have to do it right. You're open to scrutiny. I mean, we watch you, the media watch you, the regulator watches you. So you just have to do it right. So I think this is how government will address some of the concerns they have, and I've been passing that message through, and I believe they're listening. I believe it's just a matter of time, and we hope to see better traction, better traction. So we'll do our bit to convert our private sector companies, but we'll also engage government to release a bit of those companies to the Kenyans. Yeah.
Let's talk performance. Obviously, last year was a tough year. I was writing an article, and I remembered the Queen of England when it was a very tough year, and she called it an annus horribilis. And pretty much every asset price across the world, I did some analysis, only 3% of the total asset universe appreciated in price globally. So it was a global kind of issue. This year we're up, about 8-9%.
Correct, yeah.
How do you feel about the market? You know, it seems to me it's become a bit Darwinian. We have very successful companies like Safaricom and the banks, and then we have others who have not made the cut.
Yeah.
How do you interpret it?
So two things. The fundamentals of the companies on the exchanges are strong. The sectors they invested in are doing well. Most of the sectors are actually doing well. I think the challenges companies faced last year are visibly across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, we had
So
issues,
macro
issues, stress in the economy, global issues, etc., and that affected performances. Last year, first half, the NSE had a better performance in the market than this year. We had a stronger performance.
So it went wrong second half last year?
It went wrong second half. What we are witnessing this year is more subdued first half, but with a very promising second half.
Yes.
And the macros globally are playing out well. We're not seeing any major volatility issues. We're seeing better flow of capital back to the frontier and emerging markets, which we were hit very hard when Argentina and Turkey went into issues. So those are the issues that we believe this second half of this year should be very, very promising. The companies are also doing pretty well. I think you've seen some of the results and the announcements coming out.
Yes, I have.
Looking pretty positive. And by and large, I think they can only perform better than last year. Most of them declare profit warnings. So
I remember.
I don't think profit warnings don't follow profit warnings.
Yes.
When you see a profit warning, then you see an improvement. I think that's the kind of expectation we have for this year. But we are very conscious about what's going around us. So as the NSC, as an organization, we're not just dependent on trading now. We are looking at how can we enhance our other business streams, including data business, training, information services, as other revenue streams, so that we can also insulate ourselves from the volatilities of the global environment.
It's been a real pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you for finding the time. It wasn't easy coming here because the president was speaking just across the road.
Yes.
We really appreciate it, and we'd like you to call on us if you've got something that you want to tell us about, or we'd want us to be your channel of choice.
Oh, thank you. I'm really delighted about this channel.
Yes. And I really appreciate you coming through. We know you're a busy man, and we look forward to many more interviews. And what you've outlined, you know, you're the architect, and from what I'm hearing is you've architected this thing. Now we've got to push the business through it, and I think that's the exciting part.
Thank you. Anytime. Looking forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.
It's a good pleasure.
Thank you. This was Metropole TV. This was The Smart Investor. My name was Ali Khan Sachu, and in the studio with me was the CEO of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, and we look forward to moving this forward this year and the market continuing on what is a good run in 2019 under your stewardship. Thank you. Thank you.